Right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Oblivion. So, last time we were with you all in the Oblivion, we started on a ship, and we were making good friends with all the lizard folk, and we helped them out in their. We discovered a lot about what had happened to their homeland and their war with the plant creatures. And so we helped them successfully take down another plant creature ship before making our way. They were so kind to bring us back to Cloudforth. And we were unfortunately only able to save one of the Cloudforth citizens. By the time we got to the other ship, it was too late. The plant creatures had already done their strange experiments on that person. But we tried. We did our best to make another rescue. And we got back to Cloudforth, and we now have a guest. One of the lizard folk has decided to stay here with us in Cloudforth for a time. And the lizard folk ship left to head back to their home, which is, as far as we know, another world. A world that is unlike ours, different than ours, somewhere else. We don't know exactly the particulars of how they got here, somehow on their flying ship. So, we probably have a lot to talk about as we return to, semi-normal life here in Cloudforth, except with our lizard folk guest in tow. And I think that's about where we are.
Yeah. So, think, well, everybody watching, if you're watching real time, Arizona just went down. So,
Whoa.
which is like,
All right.
Johnny, you don't have to face the former
yeah,
star.
anyway. So, it just makes me excited. But anyway,
Straight into the tournament results.
you
tune in for D&D, and you get everything. You get
everything.
Sports updates.
Everything.
You get role playing.
Right.
We do it all.
There will be Carolina updates throughout the night, I presume.
Yes, I imagine
I'm
so.
gonna really try to stay right here. I'm staying focused. There we go.
I think it'll be pretty apparent what's happening in that game.
Based on how many of us are dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're fighting enough night at a second level, but here we are.
Yep.
I think this is a role play night or a role play night. Yeah.
I wish I hadn't rolled a 1 on hit points if Carolina loses tonight.
So I think last week or last episode we began said there was a little boy on top of a roof, and then he was watching these ships fly and through his glass, and we zoomed into the ship, and I think that this episode begins with that same little boy climbing down from the roof of his house and running through the streets of Cloudforth towards the docks, which somebody might have created a dock for us.
Look at that.
And so the little boy runs through the streets of where a crowd has gathered because, yes, our 4 protagonists and their lizard folk guest,
Yes.
and of course Langley, who they rescued, have all landed on the docks here. And when they first landed, there were already some guards who were, of course, as we said at the end of last episode, they were, of course, more enamored by the ship than anything. But as you stepped off the ship, Grubel Orhart, the dwarf with a gambling problem, as some of you know, had come out and told everyone to step off the ship. Of course, the lizard folks didn't really pay attention to that, but Malignant had offered to come as the words he used, hostage, And as y'all stepped off the ship, then the lizardfolk ship pulled away. And so as you're standing here, you can still see the ship flying off. Keldrin used his best words to keep them from firing upon the ship, even though they looked like they wanted to. They did not. And there are some dignitaries who have arrived as well, and maybe not all at the same time, but you're being asked to stand there for several minutes. They do not. They're essentially waiting for somebody to come and say, we're just guards. We don't know what we're supposed to ask. So then, eventually, some VIPs show up, if you will. And so I've scattered them, here as they've come in. Can y'all see their name tags?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I had set that. So, again, you all recognize these individuals. Some you may know better than others, but you know who they all are at the very least. So they are there. And so what I wanted to start with here is essentially, and for those watching, I sent a pretty long email that said, here are these people. But then also, they're just going to say, they want to know what happened. And of course, Orvin Terenwald, who one of our party knows maybe a little better than the rest. He's a very, very wealthy and influential figure. He's the Minister of Trade in Cloudforth. He's loud and arrogant, and he's very, very aggressive in his tone. But he's in there essentially leading the, why'd you get off that ship? What are you doing on that ship? Essentially wanted to know what happened. And even though some of the other people here may not be quite as forceful, they're also like, yeah, how are you getting off a flying ship? Because again, flying ships, we have flying cities. We don't have flying ships. So it seems there's a sense of wonderment and awe from some of them. Some of them it's a little more accusatory. So the questions then are, what are you going to tell them collectively? And bear in mind, unless you pull out weapons and start trying to fight, it's really not going to have any bearing on what occurs. You're going to get to the same point. It's just a matter of how much do you divulge here, and who divulges here.
Well,
I'm assuming Keldrin will.
I'll start by it's a fascinating tale, and we would love to tell you the entire thing from the moment that we dropped down to the beach and took off with the plant people right until we arrived back here. But it would be far more comfortable if we just all adjourned to the bar and had a drink and sat around and told tales as. We don't have to stand here out in the elements. We can go relax, and I will tell you the entire thing.
And again, there's some agreement with that. There's also some we need to know right now. Some of the townspeople, hear you speak from a distance and hear some, no! Tell us now! Because they're kind of rubbernecking this whole thing at this point. So they're, if you go to the bar, they're either going to have to follow you to the bar or, they're not going to know. They're not going to know what happened. So.
Yeah, why would they not want to follow us to the bar? I don't understand that. But all right. Well, if you must know some of the details right now, again, if anyone would like to join us for a drink, I'll paint the full picture of our adventures. But the short version is that we took off after some of our fellows here who had been carried aboard one of the ships by those plant creatures that you all saw attacking our city, and we were carried away. There was a plant creature driving the ship and refused to bring us back home, and only kept.
Kater jumps in at that moment to make the sound that the plant creature made.
Yes,
As he's trying to say that, just awkwardly jumps in and makes that sound of the plant person.
Yes, it was just like that, and we tried to communicate with this thing, and it kept making those terrible noises, and just kept flying the ship higher and higher into the sky, and refused, and said it was taking us back to its home, and it would do nothing else. It was directed to take us all back to its home. Fortunately, these fine folks who you just saw taking off in their ship there swooped down and rescued us before we were taken away to wherever these plant creatures came from, and we learned the tragic tale of how their homeland had been completely destroyed by these plant creatures and their army. It's a terrible, sad tale, and our friend Malignant here has lost very many companions in this war. And they have told us that the plant creatures, if they are coming here this way, then they also intend violence against all of us. And so they chased them here from their home world, tracked their ship, and were coming to destroy it. And we helped them destroy another one of the plant ships. We were unfortunately too late to save another one of our brave citizens before the plants did their terrible, terrible things to his body. But we did destroy them, and after bringing down both of those plant ships, we were brought back here by our wonderful new allies against these terrible creatures who've attacked us this day.
There's some murmuring in the crowd, and Orvin says, "Their world? What do you mean their world? You said their land, and then you said their world."
Yes, they come from a world unlike ours. Not this world. This was the first time they've ever been here. They've come from a very long way away.
You mean like an extraplanar?
I believe so, yes.
So there's some more hush talking, and says, and that's it.
Well, as I said, I will provide all the wonderful, intricate details, and for anyone who would like to accompany us to the bar. But that is basically what happened. Yes.
That's the.
And your. What do you say?
That's the essence of it.
And your lizard friend there.
Yes, Malignant, a brave warrior from his.
Every time you say his name, he looks over at you. Doesn't understand anything else you've said, Barrett. He understands Malignant. He looks over at you, and then he looks back at everybody else. Well, why is he here?
Well, he's curious about our land, and we did not have enough time to discuss everything that we wish to discuss and learn of his people in the short time that we had aboard their ship. But the rest of his crew needs to return home. But they will come back for him.
And when they do,
then I imagine he will go back and be among his people once again.
how do you know they don't want to bring back more ships?
Oh, they do not wish any harm upon any of us. They are simply fighting for the survival of their people against these plant creatures. The only reason they are here, after all, is because they were chasing after their aggressive, warlike enemies.
And they brought their war here.
So, I believe they wish to avoid their war spreading any further than it already has, but unfortunately these plant creatures and their ships seem both quite powerful, and that they've had the lizard folk vastly outnumbered. Even more so now.
Well, does anyone have anything to add to that? They look at everybody else.
Well, the plant creatures were called Arctics. We learned that.
Yes.
We should probably call them that. And are they all Jotsao? Did we decide Jotsao? I think
Blagney looks over at you. Blagney looks
Jotsao.
over at you when you say Jotsao.
it was a little bit confusing.
I thought that was a person's one of their names.
I thought that was multiple of their names.
I thought so at first as well, but I think maybe just one of them was Jatsao.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
All right, my mistake. Did we ever? We never figured out their name then.
What their people
Like what they call their
are
people.
called?
The name of the people.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, all right. We tried, right? Am I wrong?
They didn't really understand, I think, as I recall.
Yes, it was.
There was some confusion over names and naming principles
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah, like that was difficult enough to figure out. Yeah, how we communicate. No, that's my name. Yep.
Carius looks at Elenius and says, "And why have you not healed our Stallion?"
Healed who?
Langley.
Our fellow
Oh.
Stallion.
I did heal him.
He's unconscious. Does not look well.
I expended all of my power keeping him alive and all of us as healthy as we are. I have nothing left to give until I can rest. But we were able to rescue Langley and save him from the plant creatures. He's who we pursued onto the ship.
We'll go hover over Langley, make more of the plant noises, and then like probe his belly, basically tickling him.
Langley doesn't move, but you mentioned what were they doing to Langley and
They
this
didn't.
other?
They didn't get to Langley, or else we wouldn't have been able to save him. But they
What he's doing?
room at the bottom of their ship. It'd be best not to talk about that here.
I see.
But we do not want any more of our people to become captives of theirs under any circumstances. Those that were at the tower when we left have been dealt with.
I'm trying to think of time. It is it's under control.
Good. And they have no more ships down there?
Our last reports were that our ships had closed on one of theirs, and that
And
they had set a sail further, and from there, we're still waiting to hear word back. Set sail.
They sailed across the ocean instead of through the air.
Those are the reports that we have.
It's just strange. Every part of this is more strange than the last.
It's been a strange day.
I'm glad that we were able to serve the way that we were. I'm glad that we could save one of our own, although it would have been better had we been able to save the rest. We could not save more than one ship.
And there were some fatalities as well at the Forbidden Tower.
There are many there.
But yes, it is under control. So in the meantime, Orvin says, I think it best if you will remain in the city for the time being. And I trust one of you will remain with our guest.
Oh yes, of course. We'll show Malignant around and show him the wonders of our fair city, and as we've done our solemn duty today and served the people of this Bolge, as is our charge, then we're going to go drink to those that we have lost, and in thanks that we were able to return home. Yes. Done our duty. Yes.
Well, as I said, you think it's best if you again remain in the city, and we will we will let you know when we need to.
Yes, I plan to be just
talk
right over there at the Tulip.
All right. Well, and some of the crowd starts to disperse.
Put my arm around Malignant, and then Draconic, of course. Malignant, we need to get you a drink. Come along.
Give me to drink what?
Oh, whatever you like. Ale, wine, it's all sorts of things. The Tulip is wonderful. You'll love it.
You drink tulips?
No, the name of the place is the Tulip.
You named a place a tulip.
Yes. A tulip is a flower here, a plant that grows, and it's beautiful. People like it, and they named the place after it. It's not quite... You might not find it quite as beautiful, but I like it very much.
He doesn't say anything. Little name thing again.
Yeah.
So yeah, as the crowd disperses, you hear the two Gnomish brothers over here still staring off at the ship flying off in the distance, shaking their heads. Like, man, we were so close. If it had only stayed a moment. Why were you so slow getting there, Funkin? I ran as fast as I could, Fablin. And they start bickering about, like, we could have jumped on the ship. And then what would we have done? So they're like bickering back and forth about, and as like the crowd's dispersing, Rakatrid, there's a dwarvish she's a little zealous. She seems to be watching you as kind of like you start to disperse, and and there's still a crowd of people, kind of moving away from her. She looks at all of them and says, "I've been telling you, it's a coming. This is the first sign of many. This is the first sign of many. We must be prepared. We must be prepared. None of you are taking this as seriously as you should." And she starts to talk about, the cataclysm and how it's going to happen again. And a lot of people are like, "Rakachud, we've heard this before," and they just move away from her, and she's continued to, speak. Mikasum will approach you, Stavid, and kind of nod his head towards you and says, "You've had a busy day."
It's been a lot to take in.
Perhaps we need some meditation.
That would be most welcome. So,
And
yeah.
Do what?
Oh no, that's all for now.
No. And Gareth will come over to Langley with Elenius. Suppose we will take charge of him.
We should, yes.
He is an acolyte in the Shantia church.
Yes,
appears.
that is correct.
We can certainly deliver him there, if nothing else.
Yeah, he'll need recovery, and I'm not sure what sort of recovery he'll need from his ordeal beyond the healing. I hope that he wasn't awake for most of that.
And you all hear, but Elenius especially hears, Refon in the back over here says, "The healing that you could not provide for him, Elenius? You were not strong enough?"
So I stabilized him, I kept him alive, and that's what I was able to do. And now we're here, and he's going to be able to be healed further.
And you could do nothing for the other that you came across?
That would have taken a good deal more power than I have been granted so far in my studies.
Your studies, huh? Maybe you're not focused on the right thing. And the two people with them start laughing, and they turn around and just walk off. And Carrius says, don't worry about them.
Who? Ryfon?
Yeah, Refon, Mishram, and Galian.
I see now. Yep,
You know who they are.
I do.
A high and two overblades.
Yep.
Well, they just got on our shit list.
Look, I don't want to speak of the horrific condition of the other one that we found, but if they could have brought that back to life, well, then they are far more powerful than they appear. They should not talk about things that they did not witness themselves.
It's easy to talk brave when you haven't been to the ground or
Also,
been on those.
Also, it's extremely rude. I will not be welcoming them anywhere near our table in the Tulip. You can be sure of that.
Carrius just says, they are just a little more aggressive. Uh, some take Helm's calling a little too far. But different strokes, as they say. So,
I'm here to preserve life, and that's what I did.
you've done well, Linnaeus.
And I did destroy one of those plant creatures that was piloting the first ship.
So you took a life as well.
I did.
And bravely, you should have seen. We were up in the sky, the ship was listing, and these brave souls were throwing themselves with abandon into the holds and charging into certain danger from creatures we couldn't even comprehend, let alone have any idea what they could possibly do to us. And yet no one would let any of our people perish without fighting until the very last.
You just stick it with the pointy end.
Yes, exactly.
And Helm will be pleased.
Whereas
Helm will be pleased of the entire defense of our realm, despite what Rakatrid says.
Helm protected us this day.
Helm protects us every day.
I felt it this day.
This is good. Well. So that's sort of and we kind of disperse towards wherever we're heading. So
Temple of Life.
over the course of the next week, what are we doing? So I'm gonna ask. So there's three things here that you can do: something, nothing, or all. I don't, just ideas. So one is downtime. If you'd like to, you find yourself with time this week. You do not get called to yet in duty at any point this week, which is highly unusual. You recognize, but it's been a highly unusual time in the last, day. So last week. So yes, you have, if it is a downtime activity that you wish to explore. You also obviously, and this may tie into downtime or it might not, have time to investigate any of these happenings going on around you, whether it is the events that just occurred, your dreams, your life events, any of those things that you haven't had much time to see to lately, but again, you have more time this week. And then obviously, since some of these things are going to be separated, are we going to keep tabs with each other throughout the week? Are we going to reconvene? Because, as we established at the beginning, we all knew each other in some way, but we weren't necessarily like, best friends or comrades or anything like that. But you all just went through a very, well, not maybe, I don't know, a different, I don't know, maybe it was traumatic. I don't know. You went through an experience together. So you have something that links you that nobody else in Asalia can stay that at the moment. Yeah. As far as nobody else has ever been on a flying ship before. So that makes you unique, as far as you know. So are you going to stay in touch, keep tabs with each other, decide when you're going to reconvene, go your separate ways? So that's all on the table. Nobody from this conversation summons you or comes to see you. Now, if you decide to go see them, that can be part of the conversation as well. But at the moment, you are free to go about your devices. You do feel like if you did try to leave the city, you you might have a hard time doing that, and if you did, somebody may track you down at some point. So you do think it's best probably to stay in the city?
So that's Kater's very first activity. Is
Getting out of the city.
yeah. So he left his shield on the beach. So he's going back to get his shield. Like it's his shield. Like he's not going to just leave it. So he's going to do his best to, as soon as that conversation with Gareth is done, he'll tell the others, I'll catch up with you in some voice. And he's going to try to get down to the Forbidden Tower to go get his shield.
Did you say you told them?
He told them that he'll be back. If they ask, he'll find some help. Well, like we can role play it because it's not that simple, is it? But that is his first minute goal. Obviously, the rest of the week's other stuff, but.
So
I can't. Just
so you're heading straight for
teleportation circle.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Hang on.
Sorry to make it complex right away. And well, I mean, I guess he would recognize that he would be dissuaded from using it to get out of here, even if he plans on going back.
Say again. I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Yeah. So he would be aware that he would be dissuaded from using the teleportation circle if he tries.
You think that based on what you were just told, yeah.
Yeah, he's smart enough. So he will try before he goes on a disguise to look like a smaller humanoid, covering the face with hood and what have you, and doing as best he can, being a birdman, to not entirely seem like a birdman, but maybe somebody who's a little bit sick or what have you, and try to bypass being seen as Kater, not as Kater, but as one of the only Kenku in the city.
All right, hang on a second. So as you're disguising yourself to not look like a Kinku.
Yeah, it's not like makeup and stuff, but hood up and
Right.
I don't know how you hide being a bird person because I've never been one. But the ways in which he knows how to do it because he's been one his whole life.
Right. I think in the chaos of like this happening, I don't think anybody actually expected one of y'all to immediately leave the city right after you did it. So I don't think the guards would have necessarily been like, wait, you were told you can't go.
Right.
So I think that like you would have been able to sneak down, get down there. Like you would have been able to get through and nobody would have taken much notice. If they did, they would have seen somebody, but it's not illegal to do to travel unless it's one of you. Yeah. So when you get down to the Forbidden Tower,
where everything's still fine.
And when you come through the gate, There are several guards there, and they all immediately spin on you with a like, "Why are you here? Who are you? You're not supposed to be here. Who sent you?" You know, I mean, they start asking you question after question before you can even have a response. They just one
Right.
after the other.
Not that he responds quickly, anyways. Help! Help! And he takes a moment to process. It's like somebody just shouting, "Help! Help!"
Like, you're saying help, help.
Yeah.
And they're like their weapons raised. What do you need help with?
And then he repeats back in that man's voice, "What do you need help with?"
I'm asking the questions here.
Why,
do you
can I
need?
still hear any fighting outside?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I've lost it. And he'll start motioning around on his arm the size of a shield. Like a little kid's voice.
Well, it's not here. I think you took a wrong. Gate.
He points out towards where the door that led out to the beach.
Well, so at least one or two of them actually has a shield, not yours, but they have a shield.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're looking to point to something.
Yeah.
And of course,
like mine, and he'll point out towards the beach. And then he starts recalling and recounting and retelling the story that Keldrin just told, at least the part where we were on the beach and fighting the Artux and everything. And at some point, like he realizes like it's going to go too far, so he just stops talking. So like he starts talking about like whatever Keldrin had mentioned about, you know, being on the beach and fighting the Artux, and before he really gets to like the flying off of the ship, he just stops mid-sentence. When he points at the shield, and he points out there, and he points at himself.
Make a persuasion check.
Man. Rolled the character. My own fault. Roll high.
Bam.
Oh,
Look at that.
That's the best I could do.
The best you could do. It's a good story.
Well, Keldrin's voice really carried it.
So you were fighting on the beach and you lost your shield? You came back here for your shield? Look, I don't think Captain Amandi's going to look real fondly if we let you back on the beach right now.
Why not?
Well, you hear a couple of them go, "What's up with this voice?" Oh, he keeps changing voices. There's well, kind of on lockdown right now. Nobody in or out.
He says in Keldrin's voice, Artuk. Artuk.
Excuse me.
He'll describe the plant creatures as was described in Keldrin's story. Artuk.
Yeah, the plant creatures are Tuck. So, I think you might need to come back later.
Can you help me find it?
Not right now, huh?
He shrugs and turns back towards the portal and looks back over his shoulder sadly, and then
Just
gets
buy
on.
another shield.
Takes his coin pouch and jingles it. It's very light. Puts it back. And then he points at whoever just said that. You go buy another shield. He points at that man's shield and he points at himself. Gimme, 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 gimme. Just buy a new one, he says in that man's voice.
Not giving you my shield. But the guy who was talking to you says, you know, Derek, I mean, I hate to say it, a few of our folks did fall, and we have collected their weapons and things. I'm sure there's a shield in the pile somewhere. So you want me to go get him a shield? I mean, shield's an important thing. He's a little guy. He might need it. Does that work?
It'll do.
Little guy have a lot of voices. It's neat. Derek leave the area, and he comes back after a couple minutes. Seems like they were probably like gathering weapons and things inside the tower somewhere, so you didn't have to go far. And he brings it back. And it's got some blood on it. He's like,
It's a shield, it's supposed to.
it's a shield. Yeah.
He'll test it and strap it and bang it.
Yeah,
So,
it's a shield.
Okay, shield.
Yeah.
Thank you, mister.
You're welcome. Get on out of here before Captain Amandi comes back.
And he'll pop back in the teleportation circle and go back and then meet up with everybody else at the tulip.
Yes, I don't know if your shield had anything special about it.
I mean, it did. It had the symbol of Helm.
So I thought, yeah.
But it is what it is. It's a shield, and you didn't have to pay for a new one, so.
You at some point might be able to see if you could retrieve it. Just probably not today.
He's got a shield. That's the important part.
That's true.
For all the fighting we're going to do this week.
And then what we're going to do this week. So what are we doing this week? We have successfully retrieved a shield.
It's a strong start.
Strong start.
I wasn't expecting to get a shield. I thought I was going to have to work this week and make enough money to buy a shield.
I would, I don't know. I would make sure Kildren and Malignant
Mhm.
are like settled in all right. I would kind of hang out with them until they seem like they're good to go.
So, okay. So I'm going to start with you two guys because that's perfect. So as y'all are walking, I'm assuming towards the tulip.
Yep.
And it might be like it's another day, but it might be later on that day. And Malignant tries to talk to you as much as he can, just to try to figure things out.
Yeah.
This seems very confusing to him. I mean, but he's trying to figure things out. But at some point when you both are with him, and y'all are like, outside the flying tulip, getting some fresh air or something. He looks at you directly and says, "Why you glow?"
See, it's interesting that you see us as glowing, because we don't see ourselves glowing. We don't.
I don't see glow. Shiars say you glow.
Yes. So, I think. Oh, Stavid, he's asking why we glow. I mean, not he doesn't see us glowing. Remember the other one said about the glowing.
We don't glow.
No, I mean not like give off a glow, but one of their people saw a glow around us, and well, Malignant, my best guess is it has something.
Does everybody here glow? Can you ask him if
Well,
does everybody here glow?
Well, he can't see it. Yeah, to him we don't glow it at all. It's just he remembers his. Yes. I don't know. For Malignant, my best guess is that it has something to do with. So we all have to do a duty where we give. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. Something from within us to this place to keep it in the air, to keep it afloat. I don't know if they'll let me take you down there and show you, but there's a sacred place here in the city where we have to go, and we spend time in contact with a crystal. Have you seen a crystal before, like a gem?
Rock.
Yes, a fancy magical rock that keeps this entire place afloat, and we have to give some of our energy to it to keep it. And everyone here is able to do that somehow, and has been for a very long time back into our history. That's the only reason I can come up with that we might grow to you.
Why you glow different?
Me?
You and he points. Stop it! He's pointing at you.
What's he saying about it?
He's asking why we glow differently.
Like from each other?
So our glows do not appear the same. Is that?
Shiars say the Keldrin one and the Stava Diem one glow different.
That is I'm not really sure why that would be the case. David, she said our glows look different. To her.
He all of a sudden looks kind of past you, and he starts to go across the street, and you see there's a couple kids that are drawing on the ground with some chalk, and he walks right over to them. And he reaches down for the chalk, and these two kids look up, and they like back away, and they start like crawling away, and he seems completely oblivious to it. He just takes the chalk off the ground, and he starts to draw like a figure on the ground, and you can tell what he's drawing is like he's trying to draw like the outline of a person. And so he draws a person on, what you can gather is some kind of person on the ground. And he like looks around, and he finds some rock, and he like starts shading it in really hard until like it turns almost like a grayish blackish color. Is there? And then he takes the rock, and he draws another figure with the rock right beside it. And then he takes the chalk, which is kind of this yellowish brownish color, and he takes that and he like shades in the black. And so essentially what you have is you have a yellow or a figure that's black kind of outlined in this yellowish brown, and then you have this yellowish brown figure outlined in yellow. And he points to the yellow figure with the black around it, and he says, the one you name Olinius, and the one you name Kater. And he points to that one. And then he points to the other one and says, the one you and you.
He's saying we're different
Yes.
than who?
Then Elenius and Kater.
But we're the same? Or we're different?
So he pointed to the same figure when he said me and Stavid, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently our glows are similar, and so are theirs. I wonder if it has something to do with those dreams.
Was yours about finding her?
Her, yes.
Seeking, and the other two were against
Saying
it.
we can't. Yes.
That's weird.
Verlignant, may I tell you a dream that I had? I know I mentioned it briefly before, but do you mind if I tell you about it? I think this may have something to do with why Stavid and I appear with the same kind of glow. And then I'll just recount the dream for him, like, fully. Since I only mentioned, like, oh, you, tangerines, yeah, was pretty much all I got out before. Tell him the full dream. And then when I finish...
Isn't there a part where he dies?
Yeah, I'm going to tell him the full story. Sorry. I don't, I hope that doesn't happen. And Stavid had a dream as well that was about seeking her, whoever this is. And Elenius and Kater, they also had dreams the same evening that we did, but theirs encouraged them not to find whoever she is. Have you ever seen a place like that I described, or heard of any such thing?
Are you specifically talking about like the what he was describing, the place he was describing, the place you were describing in the dream?
So I just describe the surroundings of the the ship, the jungle, all that kind of stuff that I saw, and the mists and all that.
Sounds like home.
It's strange that I had a dream of your home without ever having seen it.
You have jungle here?
Not anywhere near here. There may be one somewhere on this planet, or whatever we would call a planet. on this land,
World.
on this world.
Vorla, yeah.
Yes, on Vorla, but I haven't ventured very far from home.
Sounds like you two need to find her.
Yes, whoever she is, which neither of us have any idea who that could be. Although I'm afraid that Elenius and Kater will be, well, they will desire perhaps exactly the opposite. Not to find her, whoever she is.
So you do what your leader says.
I don't really have a leader per se.
Who? So you're a leader then.
I am not. I am definitely not in any way a leader. I just do whatever I wish.
Well, what do you wish?
I usually spend time in the tavern, enjoy good food and good drink, talk with folks, tell stories, share stories, hear stories, enjoy life.
What they say about your dream?
I haven't told very many people about the dream yet. I told the others. I told Elenius and Kater and Stavid. We all agreed that it was strange that we had them on the same night, and they were all quite unusual.
All Vorland's dream like this?
Not like this, I don't believe.
So who sent Dream?
That is an excellent question. Are there any among your people who send messages through dreams, talk through dreams, communicate with others through the dream?
Great shamans.
Stava, they have shamans who communicate through dreams.
Well, that I guess would explain yours.
He didn't sound super convinced with that answer, by the way.
Well,
I mean, you're getting to learn. You're learning a little bit of his mannerisms.
Yeah.
That was not necessarily a real forceful answer.
Magic.
or anyway, they might have shamans who can communicate through dreams. But the place that I described to him from my dream, he said sounds just like his homeland, where he's from.
It's so different from mine. No, I don't know that mine could even be a place. It's so awful.
I wonder if
Yes, somewhere in
there's anywhere on their world that is like that place in your dream. Tell me what it was like again.
I mean, it was dark and there was a cave, which I've only heard of.
And I'll relate as Stavid tells me about that setting of his dream. I'll relate that to Malignant. And is there anyone anywhere on your world that sounds anything like that at all?
Dark caves?
Yes.
We have many dark caves.
So it could be that we both dreamed of something on your world at the same time.
Do we not have dark caves on Vorla?
We might. I'm not really sure, actually. I've never been in one. wouldn't choose to go in one.
You not know your world?
I mean, I know this part of it quite well. I don't see any reason to go anywhere else. I have everything I need here.
You say so. Seems like you need to go find jungle land and dark caves, and you can't find those here.
Yes. We may have to come back to your world with you. If we could. That is.
That's not up to me.
Right. Yes. You have a leader. There are people here who follow leaders. I'm just not one of them.
So you have leaders, but you don't have to listen to them?
Generally, it's a good idea to listen to them, yes. Most people do most of the time, I would say. But there are different kinds of leaders here. We have people who are in charge of the city, but then, there are those among us who follow certain faiths and have, more spiritual leaders. Leaders who communicate with them about the gods and things of that nature.
Shamans.
Yes. More or less.
Hmm.
And so some people follow their shamans and also those who make the laws, and they may have several leaders to follow.
Several.
Yes.
Many.
Yes. Many.
Then if you have so many leaders, how do you know what to do?
Right? That's the problem with having so many leaders. That's why I don't do it. It would be very confusing.
This place is strange.
It is strange. You are right about that.
Okay.
We'll have to think on it some more. But in the meantime, should we get another drink? Which one's your favorite so far?
The ale
Ale. Yes, good choice. Always good.
makes me feel kind of funny after 8 or 9 of them.
Yes, that is part of the point of ale. It tastes good and it makes you feel a little funny. If it starts turning from funny into less funny, that's when you slow down a little bit. It can make you kind of ill if you drink too much.
Drink thing. Okay. He goes back in and learns the ways.
Did he say something about sorry, I had to step away.
Yeah.
Cave? They have caves, dark
he
caves
said
in
they
there.
do have caves on their world, yes.
Do they have giants?
No, I didn't ask. Catching up to him, walking back in. What about giants? And my general plan for the week was just to, be tour guide, take Malignant to all the different places in Cloudforth, and explain as much of the world as I can, and take him around to see things, meet people, show him everything I possibly can in the week that we have.
Okay. He does seem to have heard of giants. I mean, you don't know if that's what they call them there or not. I have to think on that, but there are.
Yes, the really tall ones, very large,
Creatures
massive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he equates it to giant lizards. you know, and then he describes what maybe you would say is like maybe dinosaurs. Is he talking about dinosaurs? Like, you know, but like, you know, so then, but it seems to be the same conversation. So, all right.
Fascinating. Giant dinosaurs running all over the place.
Nobody's playing a druid.
It's too bad. Too bad.
It's all fun and games so you can shapeshift into a T-Rex.
All right. So what else are we? So we have that conversation going on and continuing to show him around. And a lot of people, by the way, are fascinated with him. And once you have convinced them that he's of no harm, they're more open and friendly, and you know they. And there are people in Cloudforth that speak Draconic too. So at some point, some people can come up and actually have a conversation with him, which, you know, he finds that to be fascinating too. That, you know, he thought you were unique. So sorry, your bubble got burst a little bit there. One day somebody comes up and starts talking Draconic, and he's like, "Oh, you speak my language," and then so.
Yeah. Man. I had a good thing going there too.
So not long after their people are being more friendly to them, Stavid will, you know, say his farewell and head back to the order.
Okay.
I got to see one of his other, you know, like I said, several of us have, you know, many people that may be in charge and have to talk to one of them. The shaman one, I think.
Oh. So the order, do you do anything particular there?
Yeah, I mean, I would start with whatever kind of routine meditation is. Just, you know, and I've, you know, done this many times.
Right. Yeah.
But ultimately, I am as I was before seeking. Is it, how do you say? Is it like Mikosim? Is that how you say?
Yeah, that's what I went with. Yeah, Mikosim. Yeah.
I assume. I mean, if there's not somebody more appropriate, just like again, an elder person to kind of share some thoughts and concerns and get some ideas from. So I'd be trying to at some point.
Well, Mikosim will be available to talk. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and I had been trying to, but things had been getting in the way. He was busy. I got pulled away. So I'm interested in sharing this dream. And I can give more details if he's curious of the actual events of the day. But I'm curious about sharing this dream with him and if he can make any meaning out of it. Yeah. So sharing about the plummeting out of the tunnel, the cave, and the dark. Really, I'm curious what could that dark voice be? Like what's the source of this? And I've never had a dream like that, and it seemed related to, and I'll share a little bit about Keldrin and how that seemed to be a bit prophetic and predicting of the future. And you know, like we met the person that he'd never met before, and get his thoughts.
You have been troubled.
Yeah, and it's been days. I've given it thought, but I've been meaning to talk to you and just haven't had a chance.
I do not know what you... I don't know what these dreams mean. This is unique one time?
Well, yeah. Kind of. Then, right before the attack, there was another very odd dream. And I'll go into that one and share the details of it and kind of the odd again connection with the other the companions I went on the adventure with.
There are many who believe dreams are nothing more than imagination run afoot. There are many who believe that dreams are some sort of prophecy. Some who believe that dreams are just as a guidance. And sure, there are many who believe that they are messages sent from a higher power. What do you believe?
I mean, it definitely felt like the higher power, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Have you ascribed to any particular faith?
No, and it felt almost like it could be that and something, someone, something, but I don't even know who. I don't know. Maybe I need to look into it.
And this woman you speak of, do you recognize her?
No, and that was all of our dreams talk about her and whether to go to her or away for, to not find her, to find her or not. And I mean, I know nothing of her. I don't know who she could be. It's very, very vague. It could be a god, a person, something else.
Well, I'll have to research. And Mika-san does a lot of reading and research. That's his when he's not in a meditative pose, you usually find him with like a book in hand or books in hand. So we'll have to see. Nothing you're describing stands out from anything else that's. If there was anything more specific about who this woman is or was, or just. Did you tell him the whole dream? Your whole dream?
Yeah, and it as well. Yeah.
This giant thing, your corpse you're describing sounds terrible.
It felt there was definitely an evil feel to it, but it was seemed like a lesser of two evils, perhaps.
Well, what is the greater evil?
That's what was, I guess, warned of, but I don't know what it is.
You believe it has something to do with this Keldrin, a very odd fellow. Keldrin's dreams?
Yeah, they definitely feel connected.
You've never seen Mika-san in the Flying Tulip? Never.
Everybody knows Kel. That's not very. I imagine not many of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm probably a little bit unique in the order that.
Yeah, most people in the order probably don't spend a lot of time in the town.
My path there. That's kind of a comfort of my past, and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much where most of them hang out.
You think his dream of these plant creatures and lizard folk?
Well, that's what I was. They're so connected, but so disconnected at the same time. That's what seems so odd about them. And I even relay like the tidbits I know about the other two dreams. I remember Kader's was like a lot of drowning going on or something like that. Like a world of water, like a whirlpool, like. And then Alinius, I can't recall what yours was right now.
It was the stormy night and finding the person on the desert.
Mm-hmm. So they seem so disconnected, but they all talk about her, and whether to find her and listen to her or stay away from her. And like, I don't know. I can't remember all the. I convey it probably slightly better than I am right now.
So this Kater and oh yes, Olinius, yes, Olinius Maxwell, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also had these dreams of. Wait, the four of you all had these dreams, and you all ended up on a ship, and now you've all returned.
Yeah. And I guess, did we talk about the shared dream as well? Like, did we have a chance to discuss that? Like, we
I guess we could have potentially had a chance, but no, we did not, because that happened.
Yeah, I woke up,
right into session
everything
one.
happened, and you haven't really slowed down until now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and they were all in my other dream too, and all four of them spoke, or all three of the three others spoke. I said something, and then they were. I didn't even realize they were there, and then they said something right after me.
Well, there's certainly more than a coincidence.
You're right. Yeah.
Does seem to be more than just your imagination running a foot, I would say.
That's good to hear.
Is it?
Well, I mean, felt a bit crazy, but
What was it in the shared dream that was well, you used dream, but I get the impression you meant maybe nightmare?
yes.
So what was so terrifying? I mean, in your dream, you have mentioned that there's a lesser of two evils, but you don't know what the evil is, and yet you seem terrified. And then you talk about the shared dream you all had, and you speak of something that makes it terrible. But I still have yet to hear you tell me what has been so terrible.
It's just the darkness. I don't know. It's
Darkness in and of itself is not terrifying.
I don't know. It's unknown, I guess. But it's
The unknown can be quite frightening. Is the four of you afraid of something that you don't know? But yet it's something that we should all be afraid of?
that was the impression I got.
Well, then it sounds like it would behoove you to figure out what this thing is. You've been on your own for a while now. Well, for a lot of your life. Right?
Yeah, it's been, depending on how you count, quite some time.
You've you've had the same situation where you didn't know what was ahead of you. Correct?
Yeah.
What did you do in those times?
Lost for a long time. Then I guess I got pointed in the right direction.
Who pointed you there?
So I don't know. Have we had these conversations before? I don't know how much I've.
It's your call.
Yeah. So to some, well, I you know, it was him. It was the, I don't know. It was just a little bit of guidance. It wasn't much, but just you know, point in the right direction. Few words of advice and got me on a better path. Not lost.
You said him. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know how I refer to him. Him, me, it. I.
Oh, so you're talking about your yourself.
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was you know, after some assistance, some words of wisdom, and
you and who gave you this guidance?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess him, me, came from within, I guess, but
Maybe you should look within yourself again.
I'll try.
Maybe that's the guidance you need to figure out what this is. Or for our sake, I hope you're wrong.
I do too, but
What do your new companions think?
they all seem a bit confused too. But I'll check in with them. Seems like we might be on this together. Guess it's better than being lost alone.
Yes. Yes, it is. The path of loneliness is not an easy one to take for anyone. Even those that have treaded before you. Make an insight check.
Can I scare him? What do I go for? Is he scared?
And who fears nothing? Is that him? Is that the one?
Yes, he is the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Woo, look at that. So even though he's very kind of cool and collected, he does seem a bit startled by what you're saying. But you also get the impression that he may have had more to tell you, but for some reason he's not. And you don't think it's a malicious reason, but you feel like just with his last comment about, what he just said, like, you were waiting for him to like, oh, is he about to say more? And then he just kind of left it at that. After a moment, he stands and says, well, care for a spar or two?
That sounds like it would be wise. I am a bit beat up still, but it's the best time to practice, right?
The best time to learn.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Not bloodied. Actually, I guess when you gain levels, do you get the hit points that you... I don't know how you... The order of those events.
Are we gaining level 2 over the week?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of over the course of the week.
All right. Well, I wasn't bloody. I'm not bloodied. So let's do this.
Yeah. He does not use any weapons, as you might imagine. But he's, he spars with you, and
Kicks my ass.
I mean generally, but yeah.
Awesome.
But every time he hits you, he's waiting. He's expecting you to do something. And whether that something ever happens or not, or has happened with him, he's still waiting for it.
It's yeah.
So if you go action surge at some point, and if he pulls it out of you, and you're probably like, and you action surge, and it comes out. And then
Perfect.
You're like, so that's what it takes to pull it out of you. I see. You must learn to control that.
Getting better, but it's hard.
It is. All right, so that's going on at the Order of the Sound Heart. What's Olenius up to?
Olenius is, first of all, finding out what's up with Langley. That's number one. Like, how far did he get before he lost consciousness? What happened? What did he see the creatures do? All those things.
So the next day, he's awake, and he's healed. I mean, he's healed. He's tired, and like you get the impression that, like, in gaming terms, he's suffering from exhaustion, like levels of exhaustion. But otherwise, he's with it, just tired. He's unaware of the fact that y'all rescued him until, like, it's been told that, like, you were the one that saved. So when you go to see him, like, he sees you, and he's, of course, eternally, he's grateful, and then so when you ask him about, like, what he saw, he said, they were reaching into me. They were. It's hard to explain. It seemed like felt like they were trying to take whatever is inside of me and pull it out. For a moment, I thought that my chest cavity was just going to explode. I mean, that's what it felt like. That's the last thing I remember.
Must have caught you just in time then. That's interesting. I don't think that they were after something physical. But I don't know what they're after, so I won't say more than that. But I appreciate your time. I'm glad that we were able to save you the harm that could have happened there.
But I am forever in yours and your companions, whoever they were, their debt.
There is no debt. We preserve life together.
Of course.
We're
That being said, you will always have an ally.
and I appreciate that. But I won't take more of your time. Recover and rest. We cannot serve from our beds.
This is true.
The other thing is to talk to How do you say her name?
Racketrid?
Racketrid?
Yeah.
You didn't make that one easy on me.
Can't be that easy.
Right. Talking to Racketrid about the cataclysm, I don't think that this is our first conversation.
No, probably not.
I don't think this is our fifth conversation.
Yeah.
But in light of recent events, it seems more relevant than usual.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly out of the realm of things that I had been thinking about. And I'm curious what her thoughts are on this.
You mean about the attack and everything that happened?
Yes.
It's a sign, obviously.
A sign of what, though?
We all know the cataclysm. It's the North Tower was attacked, and
the North Tower was attacked, or the North. We've had this argument before.
It was attacked.
Having that many people be stricken with the Oblivion at one time is not incidental. But that's a different event than this was today. This was a physical attack with creatures not of this world. I don't know that this fits in with the blankness or the Oblivion. I don't think that it's going to lead to an event like the cataclysm. But I don't think that it is precluded by any means.
But surely you can't dismiss it, boyo. You were involved in it.
I'm not dismissing anything. I'm trying to put it into context, but I don't know what context to put it into. Is this event, like, could this have been a cataclysm and we thwarted it?
Well, if those creatures had taken over the Forbidden Tower,
And all these,
we'd all be rubble in the ocean right now.
every one of these bulges would have fallen.
Aye. That's how close we are.
I don't know how did they get there? Do we know how they got there? Like, we saw them sailing away. They were fast, but they weren't that fast.
How they brought ships from the sky. Aye.
But they had to have descended past The bulges.
But, I mean, and you do know, like, the space covered in the bulges
Is vast.
is vast, like hundreds of miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd have been easy to drop down through there, still being far enough from islands to not be seen.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I did not realize that it was that big.
Yeah. Like each bulge in and of itself, like from tower to tower is, I think I said 350 miles. It's like all the things above it. So,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, the continent itself, even though it's not one landmass, still spans 6 of those, so over 2,000 miles worth of space. It's just,
Okay.
yeah. So, yeah. So. But I did. Like, if we did not have been on our guard there, what would have happened? People that shirk their duties, when they shirk their duties, towers left.
We're all worse for it, and we know this.
Aye. So we must be ever vigilant and on our guard at all times. Your helms should know that.
We do. I was doing my duty.
Aye. As were you all.
So when the cataclysm happened, it happened because several people were stricken with the Oblivion inside of a tower. So if the cataclysm were to happen again, what stops that from happening? What have we changed?
Now you see my problem, boyo. Now you see why I go around.
Have we changed anything, or we're just hoping that this doesn't happen again?
I don't think you need me to answer that question. What are we doing differently? You know,
This is why we study these things. I don't know why other people don't study these things.
because people don't believe things will happen to them until it happens to them, and then it's too late.
This isn't something that happened a long time ago.
Depends on your perspective.
I suppose. But I'm going to look more into if we can find some news, something during that time immediately after the cataclysm. Certainly they must have at least discussed changing something. Like, what's different? How do we keep this from happening again? We got attacked today and we thwarted the attack, but we were able to get ambushed by multiple ships that sailed in.
Flew in. It's again something that we've never experienced before. What will be the next thing we've never experienced before?
Mm-hmm. So we should have a plan for that.
How do you plan for something that you don't know what is?
This one could have been planned for by looking up.
For flying ships?
You had somebody posted on the top of the tower?
I mean,
we're on flying islands.
Yes, but we're more on floating islands. You know this.
I know.
If we could use our Yetin to those Those Umbadumban brothers, well, they've been trying it for a long time. If they could use their own Yetin, then they could get their machines off the ground.
Have they found a way to power things with Yetin?
No, that's what I'm saying. If they could,
That's what I thought.
then we would have we would know how to fly, and not just float.
I wonder if that's what they're getting at.
Who?
The plant creatures.
You wonder if that's what they're getting at?
Yeah, I was talking to Langley.
Oh yes.
Hmm?
Oh yes. Is he well?
He is.
All right. Hopefully he can return to his duty soon then.
Not too soon, but yes.
Every watch must be vigilant.
Yes, but the watch must also not be depleted. We know about serving when we're not supposed to, and rest is service. And serving unrested is serving poorly.
For the weak-minded, I agree.
Everyone's weak-minded after a point. But the Artuks, the plant creatures, Langley had reported that they were reaching into him with their pseudopods, and it felt like they were going to pull his chest apart and that they were trying to take something out of him. And I wonder if that was Yetin that they were after.
You can't just pull Yetin out of us.
They probably don't know that, though.
Aye.
But if they can sense that we have Yetin, that's different.
Can they?
I think that for now, I want to assume that they can until I know that they can't. I don't know why they would have come here and attacking the tower first. It's not the most obvious target. Unless they're drawn to it by the power that it has.
It's the smallest target, though, aye?
It is. But not the softest as they found today.
Aye. Have you had any prayers? Have you, I don't know, discussed it with, well, have you been over to the Temple of Life? That's what we call it, Life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you gone to the Temple of Life and discussed it there?
I have not yet. I wanted to discuss the cataclysm context of it with you first. But I do intend to go to the Temple of Life and do further research there.
Yeah.
See if they can offer any insights.
I hope you're, well, I'm sure you'll find something there.
I think so too. I can't help but think that it's going to be about the blankness in one form or another.
But if it is, we must remain on our guard.
And if it isn't, then we must remain on our guard anyway.
Aye. Which means the 4 of you should be back on Yetin duty.
Yes. Why aren't we allowed on Yetin duty?
And they don't discuss such matters with me.
I thought that was a curious decision.
Everyone should be doing their duty.
Well, unless you're not allowed to.
Yeah, so.
Speaking of which, I'm keeping you from yours. So good day to you.
Hey, good day. When she turns around and walks off, you hear like there's a couple of kids that are like, you know, climbing on a fence where they shouldn't be. She's like, "Hey, you two boys, get down from there. You're not climbing on a fence around in our city. No, get to where you need to be." And like, yeah. So she, yeah. And again,
Hassle the youth.
yeah. And they like scurry away from her as quickly as possible. Okay. What else are we up to this week? Does anybody want to do a straight downtime activity? Or we just roll dice?
Those all cost so much money. Well, except for that one, but I'm not working.
Pit fighting. I don't know if we have pit fighting in this city.
Pit fighting.
I don't know about pit fighting. I'm trying to...
Pit fighting. That's a quick way to make money.
It is a good way to make money.
Yep.
If you're a Goliath barbarian.
That helps out. But even a Kenku barbarian can make a decent amount.
True, yeah.
No, I mean, Kater was going to work, assuming there's no pit fight. He probably wouldn't pit fight yet anyway. A wrestle match or whatever constitutes. Would probably work, though, first night, he would catch up at the Tulip, presumably with Kader. Oh, sorry, I'm Kater. What the hell? Right. With Keldrin. Oh, there you go. What happened? Started, normal conversation, just spending time, mostly Keldrin talking and hair nodding and awkwardly interjecting at times. At some point, one of those awkward interjections, he says, right here, "Melathan, she's an interesting one," in an old woman's voice.
Wait, what was the name? What name?
Melathan. Melathan? I don't know. One of the ones in the email.
You said Belethan first, so that's what we're going with.
Melathan.
Is that a name I recognize at all?
Yeah, again, like everybody in the email, everybody.
Oh wait, that's right. That was one of the ones in that email.
Yeah, she was a Triton noblewoman around for 40 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
She is extra legal.
Right. That one.
I'll be back in 10 seconds.
Okay. I mean, yes, I suppose she is interesting. Did you talk to her or something?
Talk to her or something.
Oh, you talked to Belethan about what?
Help me talk to Belethan.
Oh, you would like to talk to Belethan. Ah, yeah, well, of course we can do that, certainly.
And he starts making the sound of rushing air and then he starts to he makes the sound of splashing into water, and he starts going through his dream. And then at some point, whenever that clicks for you, he stops.
Oh, you want to ask her about your dream that you had? Yes. Yes, I was, speaking of dreams, interestingly, I was talking to Malignant about the dream that I had, and the place that I saw in my dream was his home. On his world, where I've clearly never been, never seen. But somehow, I had a vision of it. He lives in a land full of jungles and caves and giant dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, they're sort of like lizards, but very large. Like as tall as a building. I don't want to see one either. They'd probably just chomp you right up. Just swallow you whole. Yes, exactly. Yes, the other weird thing is not to Malignant, but one of his people saw us glowing, and he drew a picture on the ground outside of the tulip earlier. And in the picture, the way that I glow and the way that Stavid glows is the same. And the way that you glow and the way that Olenius glows is the same. But it's different than the way that we glow.
Do not seek her, else the world will perish.
Right. The two of you don't want to seek her according to your dream, but Stavid and I do according to our dreams. So, it seems like maybe the glowing is connected to the dream somehow. But I don't quite understand how.
Connected to the dream somehow. Perhaps the glowing is. And he takes your words and...
Yes. You're very wise. You can tell when someone's wise because they turn the order of the words around. But yes, we should talk to more people. Generally. Belithan. Yes, we can start with Belithan, for sure.
Makes the sound of water.
Yes, we should go. And she seemed interested in, like, sort of gesturing at, what's his name?
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy.
Lizard guy.
Lizard guy, Malignant.
But I don't want to say, Malignant, but I don't want to say his name.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, just like, it was kind of looking, you saw the way she, I don't know if you noticed, the way she was looking at him. Do you think she's asleep? She's still awake? I guess we could go try to visit now.
We're gonna go visit a Triton.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna go try to visit
after
a Triton. Yeah, whatever. Just we're loosened up a little bit. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the perfect time to talk to a Triton.
That way we're not nervous.
Right.
You know that, like, she visits the tulip sometimes.
Oh.
You think it's probably better not to go in the middle of the night to her house, to her place? Probably just.
And we're about to walk out the door when we go.
Yeah, I didn't see her here at all tonight, and I've been here all night. So perhaps in the morning would be better.
Be a less violent way to find her. That'll be a less violent way to find her.
She might be in a better mood at that point. I don't know. Also, Malignant probably wants to rest at some point. I mean, Malignant has had perhaps even more of a trying day than we have, coming all the way here from another planet and fighting, and I don't know if they sleep. Or if, I mean, some creatures don't sleep. Like Elenius doesn't really sleep. Sort of goes into a trance.
And at that moment, like, you look over Malignant, because he's been beside you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you look over him. He's got his head against the wall.
Oh yeah, we should probably take him to sleep somewhere.
I don't know if lizard folks snore, but yeah, he's making wisping, lizardy noises.
He really did like the L very much, though.
First hangover coming for him in the morning. All right, so we're gonna find Lethan
in the morning, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Try to. I mean, I don't know if we're far enough below her that we're not going to get close enough, but at least being the one ocean person here, worth talking to about ocean stuff.
Well, like, you're a Triton. Tritons know about oceans, right?
I mean, I would hope so. They come from the oceans. Right?
Not that we're assuming anything.
But we are.
So Elenius is researching. You are going to see belief in other things.
I think there's time to work for the week. Got to make that money.
And
Which work are you doing this week?
It's something physical. He's got to work his muscles out, whether that's hauling for somebody if they need it, guard duty, protection, whatever is needed that will be more suited to his physical prowess as a small, strong bird man.
Okay.
Oh, man, I guess I need to do some work too. I mean, I gotta keep buying Malignant drinks. I'm gonna need a little extra money this week.
But, yeah.
Ah, man, that's a bummer that I have to work.
And what's your work?
Speech writing.
Nobles, yeah, why not?
I don't know. Yeah, like helping nobles with offering for speeches coming up or storytelling. I don't know. Can I do like kids' birthday parties? Like read to kids at the library? I don't know.
Whatever's gonna buy them drinks.
Yeah, whatever. Like I'll do anything involving like speaking, reading, writing for people.
There's charisma performance.
Yeah.
As a suggestion.
Yeah, some kind of non-musical performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be an actor.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
start to musicals.
If they really need somebody to take a spot in a play or be like the MC for a performance of some kind.
I got you. Yeah. I was trying to think of it. Yeah. All right.
Like everyone needs an announcer for something at some point, right? I'll go announce at the fighting pits.
Oh, never mind. I'm going to the fighting pits. I didn't realize that was an option.
I don't know if there's fighting pits or not.
I didn't feel like a fighting pit kind of culture.
Yeah, I don't think there's a fighting pit.
It doesn't have to be a fighting pit. Like it says pit fighting, right? Including boxing, wrestling, and other non-lethal forms of combat in an organized setting, predetermined matches. This place loves organization, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if they have like a
It's really like
coliseum or a.
I'm sure Agnes has something set up somewhere around here we could.
Yeah. Must be some kind
underground.
of life. Yeah. Down on the
fight
beach.
club going on.
We'll do it a different downtime.
Let me think about the pit fighting one. We'll stick to work right now.
Okay.
Work, that's easy.
Yeah.
If y'all want to go ahead and make your rolls.
Yeah.
All right.
I assume mine will fit under athletics.
Yeah.
Let's do some old charisma.
Drew,
are you going to do a particular downtime activity this week?
So probably research. He would be Stavid would be doing a lot of just introspection and
Oh, wow.
meditation. Oh wow.
Making that bank, the extra 25 gold.
And yeah, a comfortable lifestyle, but he's going to live squalid to make the extra cash. Heck yeah.
Plus 25 gold.
Yeah.
And you were comfortable,
and I'm using every bit of it on me and Malignant this week. I'm going to be left with nothing at the end of the week, but we'll enjoy it.
Also, Malignant is fascinated by the idea of a coinage economy type thing. So you're paying gold for drinks and like heat. It is, yeah. And then when you're like, come on, I got to go to work, and he doesn't. Like, what are you talking about? I'll go with you. And then you start working, and he's like, well, what is going on? Of course, he doesn't understand what you're doing either.
Yeah.
But then when they pay you, he's very confused.
It's very strange. I'd hate it too, but I do this, and they give me these, and then I give these, and we get the drinks and the food. Terrible system.
Yeah, he's learning a lot. So all right, so there's some work going on, waiting to see Belithan, and then I'm sorry, Drew, you said you were researching.
So I've been in intermixed with a lot of like meditation and introspection and all that. I would definitely be doing some research. Very curious about I don't know where I can go, but like the concept of worlds is kind of something that's now interesting me. And then like, isn't there something about our history? This is like Stavid's not super well like learned, so like, about, isn't that connected to our history somehow? Like, the original, so he'd be doing research, probably getting up to like a school-age child's level of knowledge of like a little beyond, like maybe middle schooler level of like our history and so on at this point, would be my guess. Like, I just don't, he's not real knowledgeable to begin with. So
Okay.
He's working toward it though, I would say. I don't know if he finds any really good tidbits or anything, but that's what he's interested in, this whole worlds and
Right.
I kind of heard that, but kind of dismissed it as just like fairy tale.
I forgot that. Oh, wait, did that roll? I did roll. to see if there were any work complications this week. Okay, so you're researching for the week. Okay. So in the meantime, while research is going on, Olinius, you are doing your research, and you know that in one of these places, I don't remember which one. One of the temples, there is a, there's a library there that's, open for, especially for clergy to take advantage of. So, that would be one of the areas that you would be looking at. Probably I was actually, hold on, there's a reason I keep all these tabs open, so when I can go back and look at these.
Otherwise, you just have 400 tabs.
Right. Yeah, I guess it probably would be Saloon. But yeah, so that would be one of the areas you would go, in addition to libraries and any other, wise people around the city. Because of who you are and your interest and how long you've been around, you do feel like at this point, you're kind of going over things that you've already unearthed before. That you feel like you've done all of these avenues, and you're like, there's got to be more information about it out there. But if it is, it's either well hidden around here or it's not here, it's somewhere else.
Right.
But you're thorough, and so like you're going back over, checking over things. And one of these days this week, you are passing through the Temple of Life, and Cariath is out and kind of in the main area there, and he sees you approaching, heading towards the Church of Saloon, and he kind of nods to you and says, are you well, Elenius?
So I am. We fared well in a situation that we may not have.
That's good.
But there's a lot of pieces right now. I don't know how anything fits together. It's hard to make sense of it all.
Do you wish to discuss it?
So, well, there's two different things that are bothering me.
Seems like there's more than two different things bothering you, but we can start with those two things.
Well, for the one thing, I was talking to Racketred.
Yes, Lightview.
Yes. So we were talking about the cataclysm and blankness. And that was the last. And he says it's an attack on a tower. It's the last event that happened at a tower. Right.
Yes.
And I was curious what happened after that occurred that would keep something like that from occurring again. So is there like a change in tower policy? Was there a fix that happened? Like, did anything get fixed to keep that from happening again? And then, like,
I think there was just a renewed watch, if you will. The numbers of people providing Yetin in their duty increased to they increased to numbers that, my understanding, that we have not seen before, with the hope that that type of thing in those type of numbers would never happen again. While it has been unfortunate that some have been struck with Oblivion, it has not occurred in those numbers since, as we know.
yes, and that's number 2. But then I guess going with that, then did the changes in policy help us today at the tower? Like, did that increase in numbers make it so that we had enough numbers at the tower to defend ourselves from this invasion? And
That's one way to look at it.
I thought that was an interesting through line.
It's fortuitous. But Helm is always watching us, so.
Helm is always watching us. Saloon provides us with guidance.
She does.
And making good decisions pays off over time, and we know this. But then the 4 of us that were on that flying ship, we had been talking earlier that same day about recurring dreams that we'd each had. And then just prior to the attack, I had a very vivid dream that seemed similar to the recurring dream that I'd been having. It wasn't similar to the dream, but the tone of it was similar.
As in threatening? Frightening?
Yes, both. I tried speaking with you earlier about this, but every time I did, something came up, and this time when I tried talking to you about it, I just could. So I wasn't actually expecting to be able to make it this far into the conversation with you.
I mean, I am busy, but
no, it wasn't just that.
We made it this far. So.
It was that every time I would make an effort to come see you, then something would come up around me that would keep me from coming to see you. And if I were to try to do something else and come to see you about that, then that was fine. But if as soon as I was like, oh, as long as I'm here, we should talk about this other thing, then all of a sudden that became impossible again. I didn't think there was anything to it until earlier today when I was talking to these other 3 people who I've never spoken to in a conversation together before. And then all of us were having the same experience.
That's a lot.
That is a different thing.
You've And these dreams are
keeping me from being able to share this with you isn't now.
This is true.
So while I have this moment, then here's what my dream was about, and recounts the dream. It said I had this a half dozen times in a month. And then this afternoon at the tower, I don't know how to say it except that I fell asleep. Like, I fell asleep.
You slept.
Yes. Like
were you under some magic?
I didn't think that was possible.
No, I don't think so either, but I mean, if you slept, I didn't think that was possible either. So
I agree. So it must have been some sort of magic. But I had a very vivid dream, not similar to, but it seemed the same type of dream as I'd been having throughout the month. Sorry, that dream.
So, and you recounted. Sorry, you broke up a little bit. You recounted. Sorry, you recounted your dream to him.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So that seems a very threatening dream. Certainly. You had it once.
This one today I've had once.
But the one you've had previously, it's a recurring dream?
Yes.
Dear. Have you tried to break down this dream in any way?
Like the different symbols and things?
Yes.
Yeah, the 3 lightning bolts with the star is a symbol. And I don't know what it's a symbol of.
Well, 3 lightning bolts traditionally is held by Talos.
Talos?
Talos. Or Talos. Talos. How to pronounce it. You can roll your religion check on Talos if you want to. So I don't know about the star, though. A star connected to.
I had been thinking of it as one symbol, not 2. But there had been 3 arcs of lightning. There are 3 lightning strikes. The 3 lightning strikes radiated from a star, which is why I had the whole thing as one symbol, but the star could be separate. So to locate the wayward stars, that could be followers of Saloon, perhaps?
Possibly. But I don't know if any Selunites would say that they're wayward stars.
I don't think that they would consider themselves wayward unless they were.
At
And
which
if
point,
they
I
were
don't know.
wayward, then they wouldn't self-identify as wayward.
Would they still see themselves as following Saloon at that point?
They may. I mean, I've certainly seen followers of Helm that have a different angle on the devotion than I do.
Possibly.
You can incrementally become wayward and not have the introspection to realize that you've crossed a line.
So, if you're connecting these to Saloon,
Perhaps, I mean, I don't know, or wayward stars could be almost anything else.
they could.
The 2 storms colliding could be 2 opposing armies, could be 2 nations, could be 2 ideas. And that's pretty open to anything.
It'd be 2 terrible storms.
Storms don't combine, though, do they?
Well, elves don't sleep.
This is so. then looking for them and finding them, whoever them are, but do not seek her. Do not seek her is important because that's the opposite of what two of us had in ours. Stavid and Keldrin both had a vision, a dream. Their dream said to seek her. My dream and Kater's dream expressed that that was a bad idea. So there could be two different hers. There's no need to assume that that's the same her.
We don't have knowledge of who her is.
We do
Correct.
not have knowledge of who her is or who they are if there's two hers. No, we don't.
And none of your dreams, she was not identified.
No, I had
clues?
the creature in mind.
Yes.
That was the only other character aside from myself. I don't think I'm lying.
No, you're not lying.
I'm not lying.
Yeah. Well, this does seem quite concerning.
Yes.
Seems to you have something else to keep you occupied, as if you need something else. It is a strange coincidence that the four of you have these dreams, and yet you are the four that end up on a ship, a flying ship.
Yes. It's coincidences and coincidences.
I would wager it's something more, but it will be something that requires more prayer and introspection.
I agree.
I will keep your words in confidence, and I will. Well, I will see what I can discover.
Thank you.
All right. And it's going to be, I guess, some of your research.
I don't know how much research I get with my history roll there.
What did you roll?
7.
Oh, a 7.
Yeah.
That's one piece of knowledge. Gotta beat a 6 to get something.
What did David roll in his knowledge roll?
Is it knowledge? What is?
It says make an intelligence check.
I mean, yeah, I'd assume a relevant skill if it
Yeah.
exists.
True.
I have pluses in none of those, so we'll go with we'll go history on this one.
13. You
Trying to be
learned
more
two things.
studious.
You learned 2 things about the universe.
Wow.
No, there's only a few things left then.
Yeah, all right. So uh-oh. I've locked up. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. My Roll20 screen is just gone.
Oh,
So
good.
I'll just
Fun.
That's all right. So I think actually I will think about the things y'all have learned and I'll get back to you next time. Next time when we figure out the end of this week. So yeah, so be thinking about like, well, if there's anything else that comes to mind thinking about that you would do, and we'll pick that up next time.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Good.
Thanks everyone for hanging out. If you're hanging out with us, I remember that we have like all sorts of schedule things, so we'll be back sometime in April with a game. That's all I got for you.
There we go.
So at some point in April, a thing will happen, and we'll see you then. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Good night.
Night.
Good night.